Hey guys, for homework last night I had you solve this one problem using these 6 different ways. You had estimation, you're estimating the division problem. We'll show you how to do that. Array, bar model, area model, partial quotient, and then algorithm. And you're solving the same problem but using the 6 different strategies. The reason why I want you to use these 6 different strategies is so that you are comfortable with them. You can use them no matter what's going on. You know how to use them. So that's the goal, and so that's what we're going to do. So let's start by looking at estimating. So the first thing I'm going to do when I estimate is write my multiples of 4 to the side. Now normally I would stop at 36. However, since I see that 54 is bigger, then I'm going to keep going. The reason why, when we normally estimate with multiplication, addition, and subtraction, we have a tendency to round, and we'd look at this bossy neighbor right here, 50, the 4, and say that goes down to 500. But 50 is not a multiple of 4. So what we do when we estimate in division, we find comparable numbers, multiples of that. So the first thing that we're going to do is find a multiple of 4 that is close to 54. So if I keep going over here, if I go down 40, 44, 48, 52, 56. Now 44 is between 52 and 56. So since 54, it has a 4 here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make my number 56. So I'm going to bring these down, and this is going to become 560 divided by 4, and then I'm going to find it. Now I have 1 0 in my dividend, and I don't have any zeros in my divisor, so I'm going to have 1 0 in my quotient. So I can get rid of that 0. And 56 divided by 4. So I can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So 14 is a multiple. So 560 divided by 4 is 140. We can check that out by multiplying, or you can, yes, so we can multiply 140 times 4 to make sure. 4 times 0 is 0. 4 times 4 times 4 is 16. Get rid of the 1. And 4 times 1 is 4 plus 1 is 5. So we got the same answer. So our answer would be 140. So now let's go look at an array. So now with an array, I'm going to have to make 4 rows. Since my divisor is 4, my dividend again is 544. My divisor is 4. I'm going to make 4 rows. So I'm going to put over here, I'm going to put 4 rows. Put 4 rows to the side, and now I'm going to fill them in with these. So I'm going to start with the hundreds. I know that 5 is bigger than 4, so I can put one of these in each of these rows. So 100, 200. I'm going to make my rows my rows a little bit bigger, start them out a little bit more. There we go. 100, 200, 300, 400. So now I have 4 rows, 400. If I put this here, I don't have enough to share with everyone else, so this one has to go back. So now I have to split that last 100 up. So I've taken care of 400. So now I have to split the last one up. 100, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Now if you notice, I've taken care of this. Now I have 500 on the board. So now I only have left is 44. So let's go ahead and count. 10, 110, 120. Oh, but if I keep going, I'm not going to have enough to split these up with all of the rows. So I'm going to have to break these apart too. So I have 24 left. Since I have 520 on the board, I have 24 left, so I'm going to have to count those. 24, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Now if you notice, I have 4 rows and I have all 544 accounted for. Right down here you can see all have the same amount in each of the rows, all have 544. So if I put these lines on here, you can see it a little bit better. So now that I have all 544 here, I can count how many each row has. 110, 120, 130, 131, 132, 133, 134, 135, 136. So you can see that 544 divided by 4 is 136. So let's go on and look at the bar model. Now with the bar model, this is again is easier with smaller numbers, but if we're going to do this with this big number, we can see it shows kind of a representation of what this would look like. Now in the bar model, our dividend, which is 544, will go on top of the bar right here, and then our divisor is 4. So we are going to make 4 equal boxes down here. Sorry about that computer glitch. So I made 4 equal boxes. Now I'm going to put the same number in each one. And as we saw on the array model, we saw that each box will have 136 in each one of them. So there's 136 each model. Now again, this is easier, and if you add all of them together, they equal 544, and this one just shows you kind of a pictorial representation of what that would look like. Now let's go to the area model. Alright, so let's walk through this area model together. So you had 544 divided by 4. So if we're using the area model, we're going to keep our dividend to the side here. We'll put 544. And our divisor, which is 4, will go on the top over here. Now, with this, we're going to try to take as much out of this as possible. So that's why it's a good idea to have your multiples of 4 to the side here. Now, it's also good to think about 100s or 10s. So the same thing when we do partial quotients in a minute. You think about 10s or 100. So 500 is bigger than 400, so I'm going to start with 100 over here because I know that will work. So 100, 4 times 100, because we're doing area, 4 times 100 is 400. So I have 400 of this taken care of. So I'm going to subtract over here 544 minus 400. My goal is to see how much I have left. So this leaves me 4 minus 0 is 4, 4 minus 0 is 4, 5 minus 4 is 1. 144. I have less now. Now, I know I can't, this is too small, so I can't do 100 again. And I took a big chunk of this out, so I'm going to put this up here. So now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to think about tens now. So I'm going to use 10 as a smaller chunk. 10. 10 times 4 is 40. Let's see how much I have left. 10 times 4 is 40. 40. So then I have 4 minus 0 is 4. 4 minus 4 is 0. And 1 minus nothing is 1. So we tried again. That worked again. So let's try it again. It took a little chunk away, so I'm going to put a little bar there. I'll go back to here. Let's try 10 one more time. See where it gets us. That's 40. So 40 minus 40 again, which is 4 minus 0 is 4. I'll borrow here. 0. This becomes a 10. 10 minus 4 is 6. 64. So I can do it. I can see that I can do it one more time. My bar here, so I took a little chunk out. So 10. Again, 10 times 4. 4 times 10 is 40. And notice this is just like when you find area, length times width. Minus 40. Let's see how much I have left. 4 minus 0 is 4. 6 minus 4 is 2. And I can look at my multiples. That 24 is a multiple of 4. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 is what I have left. I'm going to put my bar here so I know where to put it. And then right down here, I can write 6. So, all right, sorry, 6 times 4 is 24. 24. It's 24 minus 24 is 0. Good. So now I have a beautiful 0. I do not have a remainder, and so now all I have to do is add all of my partial quotients to the side here and find out what my full quotient is. 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 6 is 6. 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 3. And 1 plus nothing else is 1. So 136 would be my quotient. So let's go ahead and look at partial quotients, which is very similar. Now in partial quotients, you're going to have your dividend goes under the little, goes first, 544. And then you make a little house, and this house goes all the way down. And then your divisor goes right here, and not on the top, but it goes on the side, and we are looking for our quotient that will go on top. Now again, we're going to try to take chunks away. Just like we did with the area model, we're going to take chunks away. So we're going to start with, let's start with 100. Just like with area model, we're going to start with 100. 4 times 100 is 400. What we have left is 144. So now instead of taking 3 times, I can look at my multiple chart over here. If I make a multiple chart, I can look at my multiple chart and I can see that 12 is, if I look at these two, 12 is a little bit small in this, but will work. So I can't do just 12, but I can't do 1, 2, 3. I can't just do 3 times to get 120. So to make sure it's over, I have to do times 30. 4 times 30 is 120. We have 1, 0, so the 0 comes here. 3 times 4 is 12. All right, so now I'm going to subtract those. 4 minus 0 is 4. 4 minus 2 is 2. And then 1 minus 1 is 0. So now I'm left with a smaller chunk. So now I'm doing my subtraction opposed to the side, and with the area model, I'm doing it inside. So now 24. Now if I look over here, 24 is a multiple of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 times 4 is 24. So I'm going to put my 6 over here. 6 times 4 is 24. And I subtract to see how much I have left, and I have nothing left. A beautiful 0, so I do not have any remainder. And so what I'm going to do next is add these together. 0 plus 0 plus 6 is 6. 0 plus 3 is 3. And 1 plus nothing else is 1. So then I can, so my quotient, which goes on top, is 136. 136, exactly. So let's try to, as time, let's go ahead and move on to algorithm. So to start this algorithm out, I start with my multiples aside, and then I put my little checklist over here that I'm going to need. I can remember this by drive my super cool buggy. Remember, D stands for divide, M stands for multiply, S stands for subtract, C stands for check to make sure it's still smaller, and B means to bring down. So let's go ahead and work through this together. We put our, now we still have a house. We have our dividend goes first, 544, and it goes under the little house. But notice I don't bring the house all the way down, not like partial quotient, but I just bring it here. My divisor will go over here. So now my first step is to divide. So let me divide. I'm going to look at this first one right here. 5 divided by 4 is 1. So I divide. Good. Now I'm going to multiply. 1 times 4 is 4. Fantastic. Now I'm going to subtract. 5 minus 4 equals 1. Done. And then I check. 1 is smaller than 4, so I am on the right side. So check my check. And then bring down. So now I'm going to bring down the 4. Bring down the 4. So now I have 4. So now I'm going to start over. I brought down, so now I'm going to start over with divide. So first thing I'm going to do is divide. 14 divided by 4, look over here, 1, 2, 3, is 3. I picked 12 and not 16 because it needs to be smaller than 16. You can't do 14 minus 16. So I picked 12. So 3, so I divided. Multiply. 3 times 4 is 12. And then, so multiply, good. Subtract. I'm going to subtract. 4 minus 2 is 2. 1 minus 1 is nothing, or 0. All right, so good. So I subtract, and now I'm going to check. Is 2 smaller than 4? Yes, it is. So check my check. And now I'm going to bring down the last 4. Bring down the 4. So I brought it down. So next, I have to do it all over again. So I'm going to start with divide. 24 divided by 4. I'm going to see if 24 is a multiple. Yes, it is. 24 is a multiple. So 24 divided by 4 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 24 divided by 4 is 6. So, and then multiply. 6 times 4 is 24. Good. Subtract. 24 minus 24 is 0. Same thing. So I subtract, and check, is 0 less than 4? Yes, it is. Is there anything else to bring down? No, there's not. So I know that I'm finished, and I have a beautiful 0, so I do not have a remainder. And so my answer would be 136. And of course, with all of these, you are going to multiply to verify that your answer is correct. So these are the 6 different ways to solve this problem. All right, go ahead and continue with the lesson.